Welcome back, listeners, to the Daily Vibe. My name is Josh.
Lane, and we are very excited for this show.
We are extremely excited. On the podcast today, we have Rowan, also known as Xhosa, who plays for ATK. Welcome, Rowan.
Hi, thank you guys. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good, thanks. Do you just want to kind of tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, what you do, and so on?
Sure. I'm 19 years old. Everyone, for some reason, thinks I'm this 23-year-old who lives in my mom's basement. Not quite the case. Play Siege competitively, semi-professionally for ATK, South African org. The previous CS roster was sold to Cloud9. The current Cloud9 roster is the old ATK CS roster. Been playing Siege since year one, season 4. Like give or take 4 years, if I had to guess.
Long time.
Yeah, it's been my only game that I played for 3 years, and then I started delving into Apex and but I always end up coming back to Siege, I guess. Not much more to it.
I think a lot of people in the Siege community can relate a lot to that. I think a lot of us end up leaving Siege for a little bit, but we always come back.
It's one of those games.
Yeah, so talking about one of those games, why exactly Siege? You know, what makes Siege special to you? Why is that the game that you're a pro in?
So, well, I was never even wanting to play games. So what happened was I was a big cricketer, absolute massive cricketer, and then I broke my ring finger's knuckle on the left hand side. So I was out for like a month or so, meaning I couldn't do anything. And I watched a YouTuber called Cartoons for a solid year or so, just playing like the beta of Siege, the first year of Siege, playing him on PC, playing on an Xbox controller with pulse shotgun. So it wasn't the most competitive gameplay. Then one day after my dad realized how much I watched, he was like, "Listen, download Siege on the home PC. Keep in mind this PC didn't have a graphics card.
Oof.
It gave me 20 FPS at max, but I played that for probably 1,000 hours. I was playing on 20 FPS, playing casually, and yeah, literally 20 FPS on wasn't even 1980 no 1920 times 1080. It was something ridiculously low. Like I could barely see anything, but I mean I could play. Like I could shoot 200 thing as long as I could play. I was happy, and then I got for Christmas, I got a PC that gave me like 120 FPS. I can't remember the specs of it. And that's when I was like, okay, cool. I'm not that bad at this game. I was just very limited to my hardware. And then kept playing, started going up against the pros in rank, started getting into Pro League. And then, yeah, just started more. The more I play, the more I realize I'm actually not that bad and I can just play. Because I wasn't playing cricket anymore. So I had a lot of free time on my hands.
Yeah, so as far as like your career as starting into gaming, like you said, you didn't expect to be gaming, but then how was it being approached by ATK once you hit a certain point?
It was a relief, if I can put it like that, because it wasn't just a cool they approached us after something. It was something that we were talking to them about for a solid 4 months. Like when we originally spoke to them for like the ATK Siege tournament, the roster was meant to be the old Nibble roster.
Yeah.
Which only Leventus, myself, and Jason, who's our coach, still remains. And then after the tournament, we were like, listen, we're going to create a super team, which is the roster that stands today. They were quite keen on it. Here we are. There's not much more to it, really.
And talking about the super team, you recently just won Metal States. Do you want to kind of tell the listeners a little bit about that, how that tournament went? So you guys pretty much dominated that entire tournament.
Yeah, that tournament went very, very well. So as I mentioned, we've got a coach in Jason, but he's not very experienced being a coach. But his previous job, sadly due to Corona, he was retrenched. But his previous job was a head of IT for Port Elizabeth International Airport, meaning he knows his way around a couple of Excel spreadsheets and that. So he's gone into a analytical role, a massive analytical role. Like we know exactly what time we die type of analytical. And we got a friend of ours who used to play EU Challenger League a year or so ago. He got back from the Swiss Army. His name's Tom. He started coaching us after game 1 of Medal State. And yeah, that was a massive help. Just having another guy who thinks completely different to how we think.
Okay.
just sitting, giving his opinion, giving his ideas. Like that was massive. That was probably the biggest reason we did as well as we, purely because of Tom being there, telling us, listen, you're fucking up in this section, you're doing great at this, do more of this, do this of that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Helps a lot.
And that first game was against Team Void, correct?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not very good with memory, so if you're gonna like, I'll probably say yes to most of these questions.
Okay.
If you're asking about games and dates,
So
most likely Team Void.
So do those analysts kind of just look back in your guys' gameplay, kind of pick it apart? Do they tend to pick apart the other team strategies, or kind of pick apart the way you guys attack those team strategies?
So a lot of the work that the coach and the analyst does isn't during our games; it's for prep. It's games coming in. So we'll be streaming in a Discord, and then our analyst and coach, so Tom and Jason, will be watching. And Jason's job is literally just to see, okay, cool, what side we win, what's our win percentage on certain side of this map, what times do we die, what's the KDs, opening deaths, opening kills, do we get the plant down? Flip side, if we're defusing, do we get the counter? Do we stop them from defusing? Like all things along those lines. And the problem with South Africa is they can't do much counter work, like strat work against other teammates, because they just other teams, because there aren't any bots. Like a lot of it, like this whole medal state tournament, one day was streamed, 4 games were streamed out of the possible 20, I want to say. I don't know how many games were actually played.
Yeah.
So like there aren't many VODs available. And since the scene is so young, it's just there's not a lot of information.
How much time is taken for watching film?
So watching our own VODs, so what we do is we record our VODs, and if we want to stream, like let's say we play a game and we want to stream, we'll watch every single scrim, or like every single VOD that we have, we will watch. So due to work, we practice from 8 till 11. Every day, except for Sundays, we have off. But every day we practice. That includes if we have game days from 8 to 11. So we'll do 3 hours of work, whether that is dry running, watching VODs, playing a scrim, playing a comp game. Like there's, but 6 days out of the week, we sit for 3 hours and work. Because sadly, we aren't fortunate enough to just do this professionally. We need, like some of us need outside finances, so we can't just play all day, sadly.
So as far as like the practicing and everything, is there like a sheet that you fill out saying like, hey, I did this today or whatever, or is it like I just did, like you just text your coach and saying, hey, I did this, and then just making sure everyone's held accountable type of thing? Or
no, so the thing is, you can't really do anything outside of like individually. Like it's very difficult. Like with Siege being as team oriented as it is, you must be there from 8 till 11. Whatever you do outside of that, that's great. But we do enough work in those 3 hours, keep up with everyone. Type of story. So that's how we make sure that we get enough, that everyone gets enough practice by everyone just being there.
Yeah.
Like it's very simple and very basic, but that's how we do it, how we feel like it's the most effective way to do it.
Yeah. And as captain and in-game leader for your team, what are some of the things you guys that you personally like to do with the team that kind of bonds you guys closer together? Are there other games that you guys play together, or is it specifically you guys just train 8 to 11? That's it.
So it's a weird one. It's very difficult. So James, myself, and Leventus, Leventus and I have been together for 2 years now, just playing together. James, myself, and Leventus. James was in Nibble right before the ATK tournament started, and then when the ATK tournament started, he left. So we've been together for a year and a half. And Styx and Canis and all of us have been mates before.
Yeah.
And we don't really play games together because, as I said, from when the clock hits 11, one of our teammates need to go to bed because they need to be awake the next morning at 7 to work. So it's literally just those scrims. On weekends we'll play like rank or do some VOD review, but it's the team bonding we do. It's during those 3 hours or so, and during the weekends. But there's not much team bonding that needs to be done because even though we are a new roster, we're not new players together. Everyone's played with each other. Before this.
Yeah.
So it's not something new.
So during those 3 hours, is every single day like you guys just play Siege, you try different strats out, or do you have a bit of time where you guys just kind of sit and talk and mess around?
Like all of the above. So it depends on how much work. So for example, now after middle state,
Mhm.
for a little bit, there's no need for us to practice for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Even though we're gonna be on, everyone will be on, but we don't need to practice. So we'll probably just sit, do some VOD reviews, do some dry running. We watch one thing. If we don't have work to do, we'll watch Pro League together, watch some VODs together, watch, like, for example, the Navi versus Secret game on Oregon last week was amazing. That was
Yeah.
an amazing watch. You guys are keen for that.
Yeah.
Not Secret, Navi versus Secret. Sorry, the German roster. So yeah, it's, I don't know how to describe it. Like, we don't have a set thing that we do.
Yeah.
The only set thing is that we're busy from 8 till 11.
Yeah.
It depends on what we need done. Most of the time we're just scrimming. Most of the time we're dry running, but sometimes we're just not.
So, going from cricket to gaming, what experiences did you take from cricket into gaming, and especially in a leadership role now as a captain?
So yeah, when I played cricket, I was the captain there. It's just something that naturally switched over. Other experiences, just being very competitive. Like, I'm a hard ass. Like, I'm very competitive, and I'm a hard head as well. I need to work on it.
Yeah.
But I guess it's that, just being very competitive. That's it. Like, I wouldn't play this game casually. If I couldn't play comp, I wouldn't play this game.
Yeah.
I would stop.
Yeah. It's a tough game to play. It's very frustrating when you're not good, like myself.
So that's why that's also the reason people stick to it, because it's just that first initial, like, 200 levels. It's a night.
Yeah.
And when you start realizing, okay, cool, you're getting the hang of it, that's when it's like, cool, it's addictive.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see that. So you
So,
touched a little bit on Pro League. Is there any specific teams in Pro League or specific players that you kind of look up to?
Not really, no. Like, playstyle wise, TSM, that's a big one.
Okay.
Like, just that fluent aggro playstyle, something that we would love to mimic.
Yeah.
The new Rogue roster, Arkath, has been blowing a lot of wind under their sails, the new coach of Rogue. Yeah, there's not really anyone that I look up to per se. When I was younger, like when I just started Pengu, that oak.
Yeah.
Because he was the first guy that was good. That wasn't just, okay, cool, I'm a mechanical legend. You need to outplay them, and I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. No,
So yeah,
I think a lot of players tend to look up to Pengu, especially with his insights into his gaming, and obviously he streams a lot, so he gives a lot of insights into his own gameplay. But with ATK moving forward, do you guys see yourselves becoming an international team, a team that eventually plays in Pro League? Is that something that you want to take ATK to, or are you hoping to kind of move into a Pro League team by yourself?
that's the goal, is to go overseas with AT.
Okay.
Now that is the end goal. Like, if we bunch of our teammates, myself including, feel the same. If we are stuck playing locally, and that's our future as ATK, we're not gonna do it. It's just there's not enough time in a day to get so little back.
Yeah.
So what steps are you guys taking in order to get to that level?
I don't really know how far I can, into how much detail I can go into this.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just say if everything goes well, if everything goes according to plan, we could be overseas within the next year. If everything goes well.
That sounds really good.
So that's the whole plan.
And do you think that your current R6 roster, I don't know how much you know about of your other rosters, but do you think ATK as an organization can compete against other Pro League organizations, larger organizations such as G2 Esports, such as
They already are.
They already are.
They already are. Like, as I said, their CS roster got sold to Cloud9.
Yeah.
CS roster was top 20 before they got sold, or something ridiculous like that in the world.
Yeah.
Our Apex team, I think, is 9th in the world, beating orgs like TSM, the G2s. I don't know the official standings. All I know is that, yes,
you guys,
we will, and we have, type of story.
Very nice.
So there's a lot of local talent that people don't, for some reason, recognize.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's very impressive.
I think we constantly read about the struggles that African esports is in, and what organizations like ATK are trying to do to build that entire relationship with other international communities.
Yeah, like I'm very grateful to be in the situation that I am with ATK. They are amazing, absolutely amazing. Spoke actually today. I had a meeting. I had one of our monthly meetings with Warren or Flea. I heard you guys are getting him on for podcast soon.
Yes.
Yep.
Very exciting things. I'm not going to say exactly what's going on. Not going to spill the tea, but very exciting.
It's awesome. Yeah, we had Josh's brother on for our very first show, and he was talking about all the struggles and everything, and playing against some people in UK on their servers at like 200, 300 ping, and still being able to beat them. And it's just like, it's annoying not being able to break that barrier, knowing that you could be on that stage with them and compete with anyone else in the world.
Definitely, like I can think of at least 10 players in this country that are mechanically skilled enough to be better than the majority of people who play in Pro League right now.
Okay.
It's just about one, not having the opportunity to prove it, and two, players' egos being too big, not being humble enough and willing to learn. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
That's like there are many players that are much better than what I am with a mouse and a keyboard, but purely because of their egos, they don't want to learn.
Yeah.
They don't want to be a sponge.
Do you think that there's anything that, or specifically South African esports athletes can offer pro teams that other players from around the world don't really offer? Not really. Maybe.
I mean, you can always use the clickbait title of we've got Africa now type of story. Just diversify, but other than that, no, not. The thing is, it's difficult. In what way can you measure it? Type of story. Like, what can a European player provide more than a North American player?
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I genuinely don't know.
Question. I know COVID would probably inhibit this as of right now, but in the past, have there been any LAN tournaments in the UK? And like that
In
would be
SA, I assume is what you mean.
No. I mean in UK that you guys could have traveled to, or is it just?
Oh, misunderstood.
Yeah.
We- Like, before we got servers, I think we got servers end of December.
Yeah.
Before we got servers, like, no one wanted to play and compete. We got servers end of December. Like, playing with 160 ping, you need to be a lunatic to do it consistently. And no one was interested. And no one had, like, ATK wasn't interested in a game that didn't have servers. The scene wasn't even close to being big enough.
Yeah.
There wasn't an option. It just wasn't an option.
Yeah. I guess players can't really, constantly train when they're sitting on 160 ping the whole time.
Computers to the wall. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it.
I would, like, now looking back, if we lost service for whatever reason, I'm done. I'm not playing.
Yeah. So
I can't do it again.
So since
No.
South Africa got their servers, have you seen the entire Siege community scene in South Africa really pick up a lot? I know that.
Oh, massively.
Yeah. So some of our previous speakers on the show kept saying how when you get into higher levels in Siege, you're seeing the same players almost in most ranked games. You're constantly versing people you know or have played against. Do you find that that's similar to what you think, or has it gotten kind of better where you're just playing against different people all the time?
It's gotten better, but that's just the nature of it. Playing EU ranked, you will run into the same like stack once, twice, 3 times, maybe 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Even though you might run into 4 different stacks,
Hmm.
you'll run into the same people.
Yeah.
Those people have 20 billion gajillion more players than we do in. So what do you expect?
Yeah.
Like people need to lower their expectations. This isn't EU. This is South Africa with Mauritius and the French Union Islands. That's a tiny player base.
Yeah.
It's minuscule. But going from when we didn't have servers having 4 teams struggling to get a 16 tournament going to people signing up with 30 teams and being told, listen, there's a 24 team limit. That's a big difference in 6 months. That's massive.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. No, that's incredible growth. Have you, moving forward,
Oh,
have you looked at other games like Valorant, Hyperscape, the new COD Warzone? Have you and your team played that together? Are those games that you could see yourself moving into later down the line? They just don't interest you as much as Siege, yeah?
Valorant. I have the same issue with Valorant that I do with CS. My
Hmm.
bullets don't go where I aim. It's you need to put in hours and hours and hours and hours for the game to make sense for your bullets to go where you think you're aiming, but you're not really aiming there because your crosshair and they're towed to control spray. And no, I hate that. And a battle royale is just there's too much luck for me personally.
Yeah.
Like I said it
yeah.
before, and I'll say it again. My ideal game would be a CS:GO type game, but with Siege gunplay.
Okay.
That would be my ideal. That would be my favorite game.
Okay. Sure. And sorry, Len, but
Oh,
you were talking about like your ideal game being a mix of like Siege and CS. I know that Siege recently has come, like a lot of scrutiny has been seen around Siege and the new characters that they're introducing, especially this whole new season that's happened. What are your kind of like expectations for Siege moving forward? Are you disappointed where Siege is right now as a game? Do you think that there's things they could do better, or do you really like it right now?
The meta is stale. The meta is literally it's gotten better. Luckily, it's gotten better, but it's just util usage until there's 20 seconds left, and then hope and pray that 20-second shitfest come out on top.
Mm.
But they have made the right. Like the thing is, with people always react the same to new operators. Like if you go back in the past, like Malusi is very strong. She was when she first came out, she was broken. Everyone knew. Ace is very strong as well. But go back a couple of seasons, Iana was underwhelming. Oryx was very underwhelming. Kali was underwhelming. Wamai was strong and decent. But then we go back to the Ellas, the Lion, Blackbeards when they first came out. Remember that outcry?
Yeah.
Like it's just there will always be things that make people unhappy. But the thing that makes people the most unhappy about Siege specifically is how slow it is
Mm.
with regards to balancing changes. And Ella Scorpion, when it first came out, it had 50. Ella wasn't nerfed for 3 months.
Yeah.
She had 51 bullets, no recoil, 2 impacts, and 4 of the little mine thingies, ice cream cones, or what we call them. Like, that's what's driving people insane.
Yeah.
Is that it's slow. They've been quicker. Like Malusi lost 33% of her radius, so it went from 6 meters to 4 meters. Great change. A lot of people are happier, and a lot of ops are starting to lose their shields, which is great. But it's been 3 months.
Yeah.
People have been frustrated for 3 months, and then there's a new issue that's coming on board. So it's just the speed at which things should change. That's the only thing I'm a little bit sour with. But for me, it's just cool.
well, as a developer, wouldn't you say that you need some time to make sure that it's not just, public opinion, that it's something that's actually hurting the game rather than, because I know as a player, as players, we, in all games, there are things that we want to change like right then. Like, why did these people put this in here? Why are they like trying to shove this down our throats? Like, why? But at the same time, you have to look at it as this is a new thing we're trying. We want to make sure that this is, okay for the game before we just shut it down because people are upset by it.
Look, I agree, but there's a reason we've got a 3 or 4 week test server for every season. That's what it's for. Like 3 or 4 weeks. Malusi wasn't changed. She still has a C4. She still has impacts. Till this day, on live play, she still has C4 impacts, the T5 SMG, which is very strong, and Ella's sighted pistol. Oh yeah, and she's got 3 things that slow you. You can't hear anything,
The wobs.
and wobs. And they had a 6-meter radius. Like everyone, when they played the TTS, every single person who played that TTS was like, Malusi's too strong. She needs to lose one of these things. Something needs to happen. And then a month into it being into the live build, then they were like, oh yeah, cool, we should probably do something about it. That's a month and 3 weeks that it takes you.
Yeah.
That's 2
accurate.
months. After everyone, pros, casual players, streamers, everyone was like, Malusi is too strong, she needs a change. And nothing happened. So yeah, I agree, like definitely, but that's what the TTS is for. There's 3 weeks. 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, you still don't know, then there's an issue.
Yeah.
Like, people will let you know.
So with Siege being the only game that you play, basically, are there any games that you watch, like on Twitch or on YouTube or anything, that you're like, oh, if I wasn't already focused on this, I would like to give that a try?
I love watching comp CS. I absolutely love watching. I watch more comp CS than Siege CS. Siege comp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't play the game. I would hate it. I would hate every second of my crosshair, because the thought of my crosshair not going where my bullets are drives me through the wall. It just drives me insane. So there's no other game that's out currently, probably except for Apex. I'd probably give Apex a bash because it has the same gunplay as Siege. Very similar gunplay. But again, it falls back into the battle royale. If you drop the guy next to you has golden armor and a peacekeeper, you have a Mozam with no armor, and so I don't think there's another game that I would compete in and try. Even.
Yeah. So
Trackmania maybe, but that's a different topic. Trackmania has become my addiction. That game's fun.
that's I never even knew about that game until recently, and all of a sudden it just started exploding all over Twitter. Like, everyone's posting about it.
Same, like I had no idea about it, and then Dylan Noobslice, who's TO of ATK, he's like, listen, try this game. It's fun. And he's like, I'm like, sure, let me try it. Downloaded at 11. The next morning at 11, I realized, okay, cool, I might need to stop. I love the game. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah. So we noticed when looking at all the ATK rosters, ATK has a women's specific CS team, which is obviously very impressive, getting women into the entire just esports scene. And then we read a article recently by The Verge talking about women in esports and how a lot of organizations or organizers of tournaments are creating women-only tournaments. Moving forward for the esports scene, do you think that we should look into separating having men's and women's esports? Or do you think esports should be a type of sport where all athletes should just be mixed into kind of one type of I guess organized tournament?
So in an ideal world, I would love it to be mixed, because there's no reason to separate it.
Yeah.
A chick can be just as good as a dude.
Yeah.
It's that simple. They put in the same amount of hours and like natural talent, blah blah blah. They can be just as good as a dude. But the sad reality of the fact is that it isn't the case. It just isn't.
Yeah.
Sexism in video games, especially because you can hide behind your screen, it's a big issue. And if I had the control in this to make sure that there isn't a skill gap, what I would say is create a mixed league where 3 or 4 out of the 5 players need to be female, but then you can have 1 or 2 male players in there, so that it doesn't feel like it's this disjointed and separated league. But I don't know. I'm not a female. I don't know. That's just how I would, like, if I had to put myself in their shoes, I wouldn't want to be separated purely because of my gender.
Yeah, no, definitely agree with that. So as a player, and as a captain, would you like to kind of see a female being brought onto your team to kind of give that team the extra insights or the just different thinking that a woman could provide in a game like Siege? And then on top of that, is there anything like really in your team you guys kind of promote? Obviously, I know ATK is very against toxicity in esports, but is there anything you guys kind of try to do to kind of promote women in esports, especially in your game such as Siege?
Well, with question 1, with regarding to like having a female in my team, if she's just as good as anyone on the team, and she, like, if I take away the fact that she's female or male or whatever,
yeah,
hell yeah. Like, I don't care what gender you are. If you're good enough, come.
Yeah.
Any day of the week. Like, is the streamer name's Virtual Wolf Girl? I'm very bad with names. She lives in South Africa, but she immigrated to England, and during COVID she was here. She's very good. Like, she's very good. She could play for any team in SA. Like, someone like that, yes. Hell yes. So if they're just as good and they know what's going on, hell yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Does she play for a team?
What? No. She's a full-time streamer.
Okay, so
So
she
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 doesn't
she
she
doesn't
doesn't
want
have.
to she doesn't want to play comp.
Well, no, I don't think anyone offered it, but from what I can understand, she's just more into the streaming type of thing
Yeah,
than comp play. But yeah, she's very good. She's a very very good player.
yeah,
As for what we're doing, there isn't anything that we're doing per se.
yeah. Nothing
Like
specific.
like there's nothing specific. Like of course, if we load into a game and we hear a bit of a higher tone in our voice and we notice something, then we'll tell people to grow up and not be 12-year-olds.
Yeah,
But like, there's nothing specifically that we're doing.
yeah,
Because like, what can we do?
yeah. Exactly. It's
Like, what should we do? What can we do?
Yeah.
Like, I know of 2 female Siege players. Now, of course, there are females who play CS primarily and come to Siege, but 2 female Siege players exclusive, like they just play Siege. Like that's all I know of. That's not enough to build a team type of story. Like in an ideal world, you get 5 people together and you're like, let's build a team and see how that goes. But there's nothing you can do. There's nothing we can do, and it sucks. Like there's nothing that I can think of right now that can aid this problem.
Yeah.
That's the stuff up. Except for telling 12-year-olds to behave. But that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so obviously the past month has really shown a lot of impact into just mental issues that really affects esports athletes, or just actually just everyone. But obviously the past month has really shown a lot of esports athletes really struggling. Is there anything that ATK does for their athletes that really helps you guys just mentally, or even just promotes like physical health?
So when we joined ATK, it was made abundantly clear that health is your number one priority and you as a person. Because at the end of the day, we're just playing video games.
Yeah.
Even though there's money involved, and real life can't take away from the fact that you and I both have a mouse and a keyboard and we are shooting at pixels or driving through pixels or whatever game genre you play.
Yeah.
So it was made very clear to us that if we ever need any help, whether that is mentally, like psychology, they are more than willing to help. They want to help us.
Yeah.
So like for me personally, I don't think any of my teammates have made use of their services.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that's a very private thing, and whenever anyone
Yeah.
has an issue, we talk to each other and make sure that everything's okay. The big thing is the big thing about this issue, in my opinion, about mental health and people struggling isn't needing the professionals. It's just people being pieces of shits towards each other.
Yeah.
Like just being that guy that when somebody makes a tweet that seems a bit down, just sending them a DM going, "Yo, you okay? You want to talk?"
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the little things. Because if everyone does a little thing, it ends up being a big thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
On the other side of kind of with mental health and everything, is there stuff that you guys do together that kind of promote like that environment to where you can share whatever, or like things that you guys do outside of Siege where it's building that chemistry, but as well as that trust to be like, hey, I have an issue that's not comp related, it's personal, and everyone feels comfortable enough to be able to talk with that.
I mean, as I said, like we're friends.
Mhm.
We've been friends for many years. It's not something new. My teammates know my deepest, darkest secrets, and I know theirs.
Yeah.
We know we know how everyone works. We know everyone's reactions. We know, even though sometimes we misjudge a situation, we know deep down, cool, this person is doing okay or he's not doing.
Yeah.
And from the beginning, the first thing I said about this team is, listen, just be honest. Rip off the bandage. Just be honest. If you have an issue, talk about it.
Yeah.
Because 99% of issues that people have with each other are due to rumors or uncertainties. So just talk to each other. Like figure out the real truth and sort it out. get a better understanding of the person behind the microphone instead of just there's a pixely guy sitting with a green chair and a white headset.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So obviously, playing for ATK and seeing how absolutely gorgeous their facilities are, have you been given the opportunity to go down to Cape Town and train in those facilities? Maybe have a boot camp with your team, anything like that?
Soon. COVID has made it very difficult.
I'm sure.
COVID has made it. We've only been with ATK for a little bit less than 2 months now.
Okay.
So yeah, COVID has made that impossible. Today again was talks about cool getting us down there, getting some photos taken, like just trying to get life back to normal.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, I've personally been there before. Amazing. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful place. Very, very, very proud to be associated with something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other teammates have.
Do you guys like going into the game or a match, and are you guys in in a uniform while you're playing at home, or is it just like whatever you have on, things like that? Are there things that you do to hype each other up, or what? What's your like, routine going into a match?
Okay, so as for wearing things, we just wear what's comfortable. There's no cameras, there's nothing, it's just us playing. 99% of the time, I'm sitting with some slippers on, a beanie, and a long sleeve. Like, there's nothing in regards to that. As for what we do, so we always make sure, except for special occasions, if there's something that occurs, we're always ready half an hour before the game. So whether it's a scrum, whether it's a comp game, we're always there half an hour before, just so that we can warm up properly, talk about what we want to achieve. So what ends up happening is we join, and for the first 10 minutes, we'll talk about the game and warm up and take things very seriously. Then someone says a stupid joke, and then we just die of laughter until we start picking our first ops in the first round of the map. That's 9 times out of 10 how it ends up happening.
Yeah.
Because yeah, we are very dysfunctional. Let me just put it like that. We are a very dysfunctional group of misfits who play together and say the dumbest of things that I'm very happy doesn't get recorded 90% of the time.
I'm sure. I mean, no matter how you guys act or anything like that, it obviously has proven its own results. So I guess the scoreboard speaks for itself when it comes to your team.
Yeah, I mean, the difference between us and a lot of other teams, we don't prep before our game. We did our prep work a day before.
Mm.
We know what we were gonna do during the game a day before. Where a lot of other teams, they get themselves all wound up until before the game, until they're literally in the game picking the operators. They wound up and nervous, and we did that yesterday. We were wound up and nervous yesterday. Today we just laugh and think about dick jokes and dumb stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you said that you guys obviously warm up before games. So how exactly do you guys warm up? And on top of that, what do you guys do to kind of train your mechanical skills, or pick apart your own like tactical skills like during your guys' training sessions?
Okay, so one question at a time. So how we warm up? Everyone has a different.
Mm-hmm.
I, for example, will sit for half an hour. Like even before joining the Discord, I'll sit for an hour beforehand with music in my ears, playing terror stuff. That's how I warm up. Leventus, on the other hand, he'll play. He has this 10 minutes. He does aim labs. He does grid shot. 10 minutes. He does aim labs, micro shot. Then 40 minutes of Tian from this map. He's got this set schedule of how he. Sticks and Canis, on the other hand, play 2 or 3 Tians beforehand, talk some nonsense, and they're ready. James, same story. Maybe a Tian, but then he's ready. As for how we keep up mechanically, James, he's the only one that I'm aware of that doesn't play Tian or aim labs or anything, but he'll sit and farm CS. He has a 1-to-1 with CS. He's a massive fan of CS, so he'll play CS. He'll play a lot of rank. And he's one of those freaks who literally they just woke up and they aim just as well as they would have aimed an hour's worth of work. He's one of those weird guys.
Yeah.
So for me personally, just playing a lot of Tian. I've got like 700 hours in Tian. Almost all I do. Liam, same story. Tian, aim labs. Massive fan of aim labs. Sticks, Tian, Canis, Tiant, a little bit of aim labs. It's primarily Tiant and aim labs.
Okay.
Nothing too special.
Well, I think I think the listeners have learned a lot. I know I have. So we just want to thank you so much for coming onto the show. We've really glad you managed to make some time for this. It was really great speaking to you.
Thank you for the opportunity. I hope you guys find great success with the podcast. Keen to speak to you maybe in the near future again.
For sure.
I can't wait for it, man.
All right.
Cheers.
Thanks so much, everyone.